All right, I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant. I've been, watching all over the internet the past, like 2 weeks ever since the final experiment, was, finished, right? Watching all the content coming up. But, I just found it strange how, all these guys, are just turning around and, calling everybody, oh, everybody is, lying. Everybody's, a shill or agent. It's just so laughable and pathetic to me. So I just wanted to go after some of these guys and just, call out the hypocrisy and the contradictory of some of these dudes. And keep in mind, I'm a flat earther myself, but even I can admit that this certainly was real and there's nothing fishy or skeptical about it, right? You shouldn't be skeptical about this. I mean, it's evident that these guys actually went to Antarctica and did what they said they were going to do. And anybody that says they didn't, well, you're either just delusional or you just haven't really looked into any of the information. So I just get tired of hearing some of these claims. Like, there's a couple popular ones now, such as, oh, this guy over here, faked his breath with like a vape or something. But yet, when you do the research on it, they, took a couple clips of a video and put it together to make it look like he did, but in reality, he didn't. And then for a hypothetical argument, even if the guy did, fake his breath with a vape, that doesn't mean that they weren't actually in Antarctica. Even if the guy, for hypothetical argument, even if the guy did fake his breath, that doesn't mean that they're not in Antarctica. Like the most astonishing and retarded conspiracy that I've heard on the internet about this is people are saying that they are in like a sound stage, right? That they're just in a massive stage, and when you see the sky and the mountains behind them, it's just on like a screen in a studio, right? Like they'll bring up the Las Vegas sphere. If you don't know what that is, you can do a Google search on it, right? A massive spheroid where you're able to like project images inside and outside of it, right? So say that's actually what they were in, which clearly is retarded and stupid, because first of all, um, one point I'll bring up is when they got down there, their camp was set in a certain direction, and then they traveled on the snow buggy, multiple miles in a different direction in order to get a good, area to set up the tripods and cameras to record the sun. So if this was a damn studio, it's like, well, how damn large is this studio? Is it like an entire nation? Is it an entire state? Is it an entire country? I mean, it's like seriously, like people don't think about this. I just find it pathetic. And I think one of the, greatest nails in the coffin on, these made up nonsense that people are repeating on the internet, especially about the studio claim, right? Is just a few days ago on the official YouTube channel of the final experiment, Will Duffy put up a drone video from Antarctica. They flew a drone a mile into the sky, right? 1,000 foot into the sky or whatever. And you can literally see for miles and miles. So, first of all, the question is, if it was a sound studio, well, how the hell did they get the drone 1,000 feet in the air? And if you literally watch the video, you can see it's 1,000 foot in the air. Like, there's nothing fake about that at all. So, according to these idiots, it must be like some type of, couple mile high studio or something. I mean, it's just retarded, the level of stupidity that people have to dupe down to believe in these lies and these garbages, or the garbage that people are putting on the internet. Not everything you hear on the internet is true, man. It's funny because you'd think flat earthers would have some sense to know, okay, well, some things are real, some things are not real, and by sitting there and just calling this final experiment fake, I mean, we don't get anywhere by doing that. I mean, like, like seriously, like, what do you people want them to give you to prove that this was real? I mean, they've done live streams from multiple different angles. They've done streams to prove that they're not using green screens, right? They brought up objects that would disappear and morph if it was in front of a screen, and they didn't. They done multiple live streams from this different angles at the same time. They gave you the way to track the plane going down there, right? They have I know that Austin and Jaron, they had their GoPro footage, right? They had a camera strapped to them the entire time, and you could go on their channel and watch it, or become a member of their channel and watch the whole thing, right? I mean, we could keep going on and on. I mean, it's so evident and clear that this was actually real, and there's nothing staged about this, and it's. I just don't get how people can be just so delusional and ignorant. It's like shit. What else do you want from these people? Do you want a damn piss sample from these guys? Right? You want a piss sample before they went and a piss sample from when they got back? I mean, is that really the lows that we have to go to prove that this was real? I mean, it's astonishing to me. I just don't get it. And then there was a dumbass in the comment section. I won't mention the cat's name, but he was like, well, if we're going to say that the final experiment was real, then, we must believe that the moon landings were real. I mean, we have footage of guys walking on the moon. So apparently that must be real then, since there's footage of these guys in Antarctica. And I was thinking to myself, it's like, are you really not capable of noticing the difference between these two things? First of all, the clear difference to start with is the final experiment happened on the Earth, right? It happened on the Earth. The moon landings obviously happened, well, supposedly happened, that is, on an entire different world. And they claim that is, was it 238,000 miles away? Which obviously the moon landings are not real, but to pretend that you can compare them to the final experiment is just laughable and pathetic. I mean, that is just, that's ridiculous. I mean, they're totally under different circumstances, right? Again, I think the very first point shows how stupid and retarded that belief is, right? The one experiment happens on the Earth, the other one happens on an entire different world, supposedly. So, I mean, if you can't notice that they are two completely different environments and circumstances, then, you're just retarded if you can't realize that. And it's, yeah, I'm not sure what that is in the background. Excuse the background noise. But yeah, I just find it, just so retarded and hypocritical to me. And it's funny because I watched a debate yesterday that was on Austin Witt's channel, and they brought this guy. I believe this cat's name was Nemo something. I believe this cat's name was Nemo. Right? Actually, they named that dude after the damn clownfish. Right? Here, bear for me a second. That was funny. I'm sitting here recording right here, the noise in the background, and I look to my left, and the damn squirrel's flying down from the ceiling, trying to get out of the damn garage door on my left, which of course I closed when I came in here. So I have to, I wish I could have got it on camera. It was hilarious. So I had to wait for the damn thing to run away so I can go over to open the damn door so the thing can get out. But that was pretty damn funny. Right, it's funny, I'm sitting here recording to see a damn squirrel flying across the damn garage as I'm sitting here. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, man, I just find it, just so pathetic and just so childish, how some of these individuals think, and I mean, it's like, if we can't even acknowledge and agree at this experiment done by known flat earthers that have been in the community for like, what, 9 or 10 years, ever since like 2015, early 2016. If we can't even trust these people to go and gather some information so we have it, I mean, like, where do we go from there? Like, seriously, think about that. Like, if we can't get new information to back up our theories or beliefs about whatever it might be, what does that say about you? If you can't accept the new information without pretending everything is not real and all staged and, all just made up. It's just delusional. I mean, it's just retarded, And then these dummies are like, oh, well, Will Duffy is like a Satanist. It's like, well, how the hell does that make any damn sense? It's like, you guys know this guy is a pastor of a church, right? Oh, well, that doesn't prove nothing. I mean, come on, this is just, it's asinine and retarded. Like, say, for instance, right, I'll show you how dumb people are on the internet. Like, if I put up an OK signal, apparently that means that I'm now a Freemason, right? So guess what? Just because I said OK, right? That now means that I'm being paid by somebody to come on here and lie to like 50 people that watch the video. Like, I mean, seriously, can people be so retarded? And by the way, my statement is proven right there. I put up an OK signal in one of my videos 2 weeks ago, and there was a dumbass in the comment section that said, well, this guy must be a Freemason for putting that symbol up. It's like, come on. It's just so retarded and remarkable to me, how pathetic the quote unquote truth community has become in, 2025, man. Like, looking back, to say 10 years, or really I've been watching, stuff like this for like 12 years on the internet, but looking back like 10 years to like 2015, you know, what this community was back then compared to what it is today, I mean, it's not comparable. First of all, people today think they're smart because, they're able to watch like a 30-second TikTok video of some dummy claiming that, all the rocks in the world are like ancient titans just because they might look similar to animals. And believe that garbage just because an idiot on the internet told them that. Right? Well, I got news for you. There's something called pareidolia. Look that up. Right? Where you see faces and objects that are not actually there. Look it up. Right, so no, there's not fallen titan stone statue creatures or whatever just because some idiot on TikTok said it is. I mean, it's like if you can't realize some of these people are, just trying to get a quick buck by getting a lot of views on a retarded video, if you can't realize that, then I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't believe everything you hear on the internet. Another individual to bring up is this dummy that goes by the name of Silver Rain Soul Unchained Mind, which I call his ass chained, right? His mind is chained. And it's funny because this guy is a friend of Jaren's, right? He literally goes on Jaren's podcast for, I want to say, like the last year maybe. Yeah, like 6 months to a year, he's been a frequent guest on Jaren's platform, right? But now all of a sudden, the dude will turn around and say, well, I don't know if this is real or not, right? Like the dude literally called, I believe it's ALE or something like that, which is the name of the company that did the Antarctic trip, right? So he called them down, to talk to them and, see. And apparently they, he made something up and was like, oh, well, they didn't say it. Anybody was there at the time, which is just so ridiculous and retarded to me. Like, these guys are just trying to get some views off of this, right? So it's just remarkable to me, right? So Silver Rain Soul can be Jaren's friend for like a year or whatever, but then when he goes on this trip, he's gonna backstab his friend and tell his friend that he's lying to him. I mean, that's just, I don't know what to say. I mean, that is just so, that's sad, man. It's really sad how some people, are so brainwashed and just so ignorant that they'll be like, everything in the world is not real. Shit, some of these idiots might not even know that they exist at this point. I mean, seriously, I think we're at such a point right now where people are so critical and so skeptical of everything that, some guy that puts an OK hand signal up on YouTube and gets 25 views on a video, that guy's like a Freemason, satanic person because he just put an OK hand signal up. Or these dummies are to the lowest level where they're like, if they go to the damn grocery store and see the number 30 free on a carton of eggs or on a box of Frosted Flakes, they'll be like, well, everything about this is all fake and staged, right? Like, say for instance, right, they'll see like a news broadcasting, and in the background, they might be doing an interview with a person on the street, and if you look in the background at like a gas station in the distance, you'll see the number of 30 free on the gas price, right? And they'll be like, well, see, this is all staged, right? And they're putting that there to mock you. It's like, no, dummy, sometimes the number 30 free just appears, just like any other number appears. It's not, every time you see it, it doesn't mean something deep. Now, I can admit, sometimes when you watch a movie and it's put there, sure, that could have a deeper meaning behind it. I understand that. But we shouldn't pretend like every time you see these numbers in real life, it's just, oh, must be something, hidden there, right? Must be a secret message. Like, we shouldn't pretend that. Like shit, I'll give you an example. Like, if I look on the Gatorade bottle here, there's going to be a number at 30 free. Like, hypothetically say maybe like 30 free calories or something, or 30 free grams of sugar, or, whatever, right? Just giving a hypothetical example. Um, so again, that doesn't mean there's anything deep to that. It's just that's what it was. I mean, it's like, it's childish and pathetic to me that I have to explain things like this to grown people. It just, it's pathetic. Like, let me give you an example. Like years ago when I lived at the trailer park, our monthly rent for one of our places there was $666 a month. Doesn't mean there's anything deep to it. In fact, they even let us take $1 off and give them a 665 because they knew we were religious, right? So they took $1 off, so we didn't have to pay that amount. But the point of the matter is, it wasn't that amount for like any type of like evil reason. It just happened to be that whoever, they calculated the amount of money they wanted for the rent each month, which that's pretty good if you think about that. Like a double wide trailer home for 660 some dollars a month, that's not bad. That shit's like what, $1,100 today, as far as I know, right? It's like thousand, maybe $1,100 for that shit now, So it's really not bad if you think about it. But yeah, man, and what I find funny, here's another thing I want to mention. Like one of these top flat earthers, some people call this guy the king of flat earth, which is just stupid. This guy, Eric Dubay, which don't get me wrong, I think Eric's a smart guy, but he definitely has his errors, right? Just because this guy comes on YouTube and talks about whatever, that doesn't mean he's right on everything he says. Like the dummy is clearly wrong about saying dinosaurs are fake. I mean, that's so retarded that it's just remarkable to me. Um, but with that being said, right, it doesn't mean everything the guy says is wrong. But one thing he is absolutely wrong on is maybe a week ago he did a full quote unquote expose video about the final experiment, right? And in the video he mentions the same garbage, like, oh, when people walk, you don't see their footprints. It's like, well, dummy, they're walking on ice, right, or hardened snow. And even if you look at the footage of like the Antarctic races that go on down there, if you look at the joggers, their footprints don't pop up in the ice, don't pop up in the snow. Same thing with these guys from the final experiment. So that point's cut, that's debunked. And then they'll be like, oh, it's all a soundstage studio. I mean, okay, well, what about when they show the full uncut footage from the airplane? Like, there's literally a 360 video they got from the airplane, right, flying from um, shit. Where did they fly from? Forget the name off the top of the head where they flew from, but it was like a 4.5 hour trip from the mainland down to Antarctica, right? And they recorded the entire flight. Sure, they sped the video up so you don't have to sit there for damn near 5 hours, but it's still unedited, right? As in the whole footage is all there. It's just sped up for you, right? So like, is that all in the sound stage as well? Like, what? And you can't say it looks fake because it looks identical to every other plane footage that I've seen in my life. And as a person who has been on an airplane probably like 25 times in my life, maybe 20 times, but the point of the matter is still, I've been on the airplane more than enough times to know that the footage that I'm seeing from there is absolutely real. It's not fishy, it's not made up. It matches what I would see. Well, of course, to be fair, I've never seen Antarctica, but you can see the mainland when they take off, right? And it's identical to what I've seen, so there's nothing staged and made up about that. Like, I mean, some of these guys got to just grow a damn backbone and admit that they were wrong on something. And I get it. Nobody wants to admit that they were wrong. Everybody thinks that they have everything, figured out and whatnot. But I mean, you can't claim that you value the truth if you pretend that everything is not real and all staged and made up. Like, you're just being an idiot if you think that. Like, sure, I understand, questioning things. That's good to question what you're told. But it comes a point where not everything you hear is questionable, right? Not everything that you hear, you should just immediately pretend it's all, a conspiracy. Like, I'll give you an example, right? Like, if you go into a building, they'll put a map on the wall about, emergency fire exits. You shouldn't just pretend, oh, well, that's just there to scare people. That's just there to trick people in the case of an emergency. It's like, no, that's there on purpose in case a emergency happens. We shouldn't just sit there and pretend that there's a lie behind that. I mean, that's there for your safety. But these dummies on the internet, oh, everything's not real, right? Everything is just all staged and fake. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you think that, you're just not a logical thinking person. So I just wanted to go on a quick rant about that. If anybody made it to the end of the video, put hashtag studio in the comment section just as the inside joke, and I'm gonna end the video there.